मैम रिकॉर्डिंग्स कहाँ अपलोड कर रहे हो आप?
I will upload it. I'll let you know. Okay, so we have started with the initial an introduction of the corporate law paper. So there I have told you that if we talk about the structure or the machinery for administration, so there we have the tribunal. So earlier there used to be company law board, but now this particular company law board is replaced by the National Company Law Tribunal and Appellate Tribunal. Then we have in the management, we have the regional directors, which are appointed by the central government, and these are being appointed for the respective regions. And the major role of the regional director is to see that whether the offices of registrar of the companies are working well, the liquidators are working in their regions. So basically to supervise their work. Then we have discussed that the registrar of companies plays a very important role with respect to the registration of the company. And nowadays we
Ma'am,
have
your
the
screen is not visible.
I have not shared my screen yet. I'll be sharing in a while, right? So then we are, we talk about the official liquidators. Official liquidators are appointed by the central government, and the major role of the official liquidator is to work or take up the companies by the tribunals, and there are the special courts. So the topic which we are going to take up is that we are going to talk about the administration of company law, where we are going to talk about that what is the how the National Company Law Tribunal and Appellate Tribunal have come into existence, what is the role, what are the areas, what are the provisions under the corporate law which are going to cover, who will comprise the what will be the structure of the tribunal, how the bench will be formed, what is the qualification, what will be the appointment of these particular special officers, what will be their powers, and what is the purpose behind having these tribunals, and what are the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 which are going to help us to talk about these the structure of these tribunals, and how the people going to be appointed, what will be their powers. So all these provisions we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. So now I'm going to share my screen, where just again there is no presentation, but I'm going to write the provisions simultaneously so that you feel connected and you understand the concepts well. Okay, so now we talk about the administration of company law. So when we talk about the administration of company law, so I have already told you that there is the major role or the power is with the central government. Then along with that, there are we talk about the tribunals, and we are going to discuss about the tribunals in detail, and we know that we are having the NCLT and NCALT. So that is the National Company Law Tribunal and National Company your Appellate Tribunal. Then we have already discussed, which we are not going to cover, that is the Board of Directors. Then we have the official liquidators. We have the Registrar of Companies.
Ma'am, have you started
Yes,
sharing your screen?
yes.
Ma'am, it is not visible.
Okay, then wait for a second.
Okay, ma'am.
Let me see it again. I think it is creating some technical issue. Yeah, it started.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now.
Okay, fine. So now we say that when we talk about the roles, so the central government is empowered to make all the decisions with respect to the structure, and with respect to the appointment, and with respect to the legal provisions governing the different bodies. So tribunals are being appointed. Earlier there used to be the company law board, which have been replaced as per old act, Companies Act 1956. Company law board was empowered to deal with all these aspects. So this has been replaced by NCLT and NCALT, and all the provisions are given under section 407 to 434, be it with respect to the appointment structure, the parties on the board, which areas they are going to cover. All these things are being discussed in the sections 407 to 434. So the number of sections which we'll be able to remember, that's fine. Otherwise, we can remember the provisions in journal. Then in the administration, we know that there are the regional directors. Sorry, I have written here board of director. So there are regional directors which are appointed by the central government, and the role of the regional director is the supervisory role with respect to checking the working of the registrar of the companies, official liquidators, and the other parties which are engaged in the management of the this particular corporate law implementation role. And the official liquidators are those people that in case of the winding up of the company and other matter, the activities are being assigned to these official liquidators. Then we have the registrar of companies, who plays an important role with respect to the registration and with respect to any changes of the in the formation or the structure of the company. And then there are the special courts. Special courts are again being set up by the central government to expedite the process, and under which circumstances special courts will play the role, the provisions we are going to discuss today itself. Now, this thing is not to be discussed in detail in today's lecture, but we are going to discuss about the tribunals and the special courts, which talks about the administration of company law. My dear students, whenever we talk about the administration, so whenever a particular, if we say that the corporate laws, or we talk about the this particular Companies Act 2013 has come into existence, right? So you must be aware of the Bear Act. There are only the provisions of the particular act which are with the rules which we have to comply with are being given. Then the understanding of these, we can say the basic provision is certainly sometimes given in the rule book where the explanation is given. Then we have the certain judicial interpretations and the judicial decisions which helps us to understand these provisions well. So certainly when we study the corporate law, so the more applicability or the implementation aspect is important. So earlier when you people have studied the business law, so there you used to focus on the structure and on the provisions. But when we talk about the how we implement, what is the role of the Evidence Act, how a particular person can be, sued in the court of law, all these implementation aspects were somewhere missing. But when we talk about this particular paper, so here along with the provisions, we have to talk about the applicabilities, and along with the applicability, that if there is non-applicability, so how a person can go to the different, we can say, bodies to get the particular things done, or there are, if the certain kind of provisions are not met or certain discrepancies are there, so to whom we can approach. So for that reason, this particular law boards or law tribunals are to be approached. So their structure, or what they talk about, so we have to talk about the structure, we have to talk about the objective, we have to talk about the what are the legal rules with respect to the provisions, and what are the areas or the objectives, or we can say that the from implementation aspects, what will be covered. So these things we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. So if we talk about the two boards, this is classified into NCLT and NCALT, that is the National Company Appellate Law Tribunal. So now if we talk about the Appellate Tribunal, it is having the higher position, and this NCLT is approached first at the lower level whenever there are any kind of disputes are there. So if we talk about the existence, so the National Company Law Tribunal and National Company Law Appellate Tribunal are the quasi judicial bodies. So if we talk about the, if you remember the concept of the quasi contract, so it means that there is no need to have the existence or certain rules. These are the quasi judicial bodies which have been given existence by the central government, and the central government has the right to constitute these bodies. So as per the Company Law Act, the constitution is there by the central government, and this particular companies are being formed in under section 408, and this particular came into existence or implementation from the year 2016. So their existence came into their power, they are empowered to work from June 2016, and these have been constituted by the central government under section 408. Now when we talk about the initially this particular we can say the first phase of the corporate affairs, this has been set up, and the principal branch was set up in the New Delhi, and the regional branches were set up in the other cities of India. So in this particular case, the basic rule was कि जितना हमारा कॉर्पोरेट ज्यूरिसडिक्शन है, जो हमारा कंपनी लॉ बोर्ड के अंडर था, पहले CLB के अंदर था, एज पर द कंपनीज एक्ट 1956, all the jurisdiction or all the areas have been given to now the NCLT and NCLT. So initially, the areas of jurisdiction, the area where the company law board used to work, so this particular area has been shifted. Along with that, there is the area where the Board of Financial Reconstruction used to work. So that particular area is also being shifted to this particular two bodies. Then after that, there is, if we talk about the NCLT or NCLT, so they have when these came into existence, so company law board stands dissolved. So now there is no more existence of the company law board in the sector. Then after that, we have to understand that what is the we can say the rule, or what was the objective behind the particular for which these tribunals have came into existence. So when we talk about the there is the role of investigation of the company's accounts. If there has been the investigation of company's accounts, so in that particular area, these tribunals have been given the right. Then there are, if there are any kind of we can say the situation where the freezing of the company's assets are there, that particular thing can be taken up here. Then after that, if there are certain kind of rules with respect to the conversion, rules with respect to the public suits, all these things will be taken care of. So these are the areas, major areas where the particular these tribunals are going to look into. So there can be a situation of conversion of public company as well, public company to private company, public company to private company. So what is the reason why the particular conversion is taking place? Is there anything which is affecting the public interest, or there has been certain other kind of issues or problems? So what is there? So all these appeals will be taken up by the NCLT, and appeal, if there is we can say that at first phase the appeal can be given to NCLT, and if there is no satisfaction or review is required, then NCLT is going to review the decision. And in this particular case, earlier this used to be taken up by the High Court, but now the NCLT decision and NCLT decision will be considered as the final decisions. Then there is one more important rule or provision, that initially we say that the rules of the evidence and provisions rules are there, which are called as the judicial rules. So it is given empowered, NCLT are empowered that they are not bound by these judicial rules. It means that earlier when we talk about the rules of the High Court, Supreme Court, or we talk about the company law board, so if the judicial rules or certain provisions of the Evidence Act, etc. are there, so these rules were there which were required to be abide by. But NCLT and NCLT are given the, they are more empowered, and they have the right, or they have the power to take the decision on the basis of the natural justice. So it means that if they feel a particular circumstance is as such wherein the decision is to be taken otherwise, or even though the particular evidence etc is not available or not satisfying the legal conditions, so these NCLT, they are not bound by the judicial rules, so they are free, or they have the wider perspective where they are empowered to take decision on the basis of the natural justice. So we talk about the appellant tribunal. So in this case, if a decision is taken by the NCLT, so if there are any kind of appeals which are arising out of the decision of the tribunal, or the party is dissatisfied, so they can definitely file the appeal against the existing decision. So if they are not satisfied, तो उस particular appeal के लिए decision जो है आप दोबारा दे सकते हो. So that decision will be reviewed by the NCLT. So that is possible, that in case you must have seen in certain circumstances or certain movies, that if some decision is given by the high court and the party is not satisfied, so then again they are going to apply the case or the challenge the particular decision in the Supreme Court. So in this case, if even if because the NCLT is against the high court position, so earlier where we used to apply in the high court for the decision, so now instead of high court, the decision is to be given, or appeal is to be made to the NCLT. And after that, even if the NCLT decision is not, the parties are dissatisfied, then they can go to the Supreme Court and they can file a challenge or for the review of the decision. So Supreme Court will be in the position to file the what is the situation. Then after that, if we talk about the major difference in terms of the roles and powers of the NCLT and NCLT, so we have already discussed that NCLT is to be approached first and its decision will be reviewed by the NCLT. So this is the primary decision or primary jurisdiction is the first NCLT, and NCLT has the appellate jurisdiction. NCLAT, I have written NCLT. NCLAT is the, we can say, is having the higher position or the higher quasi position as compared to NCLT. Then if we talk about the evidence or the first time when the case is filed or the appeal is being done, so it is done before the NCLT, and in that case the evidence or the witnesses are being presented, and NCLT is generally going to review the decisions of the NCLT and check that whether all the provisions of the law and law of fact have been fulfilled or not. And also, if there are any kind of decision which are already been decided, or NCLTs also collected those evidences or witnesses, then in that case the fact and finding collection is mainly the task of the tribunal and not of the appellate tribunal. So this is, we have to understand from the point of view of the power, that who is more empowered in the particular situation. Is there any query right now? Anyone has raised the hand? Yes. Okay. Okay, now we talk about the, what is the, we have discussed about the role, how they came into existence. We have discussed about the powers. We have discussed about the jurisdiction area of both the bodies. And we have discussed that who is more empowered in a particular situation, right? Now we have to discuss about the composition or how this particular two bodies come into existence, or what will be the we can say that the structure or composition of these bodies. So when we talk about the NCLT, in this particular case, we need to have the party who is going to head the tribunal, and that particular person is going to have the president position, and then there are going to be the members, and these members maximum number cannot exceed 62, and all these appointments will be done by the central government. That we need to remember. So the structure of the NCLT is that there is going to be the president and members, and the total number of members can be this, and the appointment will be done by the central government. Along with this, this particular appointment is going to be for the 5 years, and the parties are eligible for reappointment for another 5 years, depending upon the situation, that if they are not disqualified or anything which restricts them to be reappointed further. So if they are eligible for reappointment, then in that particular circumstances, initial 5-year appointment will be there, and then after that the reappointment will be there. Then when we talk about the appellate tribunal, in the appellate tribunal, there is going to be, one second, let me first point by point discuss कर लेते हैं. First point about the composition discuss कर लेते हैं, then we'll discuss further. And if we talk about the NCLAT, so in this particular case, yes बेटा कोई question है?
मैम एक बार एनसीएलटी की एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया दोबारा बता दो.
एनसीएलटी की एलिजिबिलिटी विच अभी डिस्कस करेंगे. इसमें बेसिकली अभी हमारा जो कॉम्पोजिशन है, फर्स्ट पॉइंट अर्लियर एक्चुअली आई वाज ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन कि एनसीएलटी का पूरा बता दूं फिर एनसीएलटी पे चलो, बट मुझे लग रहा है कि कॉम्पोजिशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट चल लेते हैं दोनों का. दैट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द कॉम्पोजिशन of that how the particular thing is going to be governed. So in this particular case, there is going to be one president who is going to head the tribunal, and there are going to be remaining members. The members will be classified into judicial members, and they are going to be divided into technical members. What will be their qualification, how they will be appointed, or what are the prerequisites, we'll discuss just now. But when we talk about the appointment, so appointment is that there is initially for first 5 years they will be appointed, and they will be appointed by the central government, and if they are eligible for reappointment, then there will be further reappointment for the 5 years. And if we talk about the NCALT, one person who is going to head the particular tribunal is going to known as the chairperson, and there are going to be the 11 members in the NCLT, and again the appointment is by the central government only, right? So we are going to discuss the provisions. So composition says that NCLT में एक president होगा, बाकी members होंगे, central government appoint करेगी, और 5 years के लिए appointment होगी. NCLT में एक chairperson होगा और 11 members होंगे. तो उनकी complete qualification और details हम अभी discuss करेंगे. Let me take it simultaneously, तो आपको उससे अगर difference भी आ जाता है, so you'll be able to write all the differences in both the tribunals. So I am taking writing here for NCLT and writing here NCALT. ठीक है? So first हमारा composition हो गया. Second, if we talk about the qualification, the second point हम ले लेते हैं qualification का. In case of this qualification, when we talk about the qualification of the president, in the case of NCLT, the president is required to be the judge of a high court. He must have served as the high court judge for 5 years. Then only he is going to be eligible as the president in case of the National Company Law Tribunal. So in this case, the president is the person who is or has been a judge of the High Court for the 5 years. And if we talk about the qualification in case of NCALT, chairperson qualification, so in this particular case, the chairperson is to be appointed by the we can say that the central government only, and the chairperson is going to be the judge of the Supreme Court. or Chief Justice of High Court. And again, the requirement is that the judicial member of the tribunal for 5 years he can be appointed, right? So the chairperson shall be a person who is or who has been judge of the Supreme Court or Chief Justice of High Court, and again this appointment will be for the 5 years. Then we talk about the memberships. So in case of the NCLT, there is going to be the judicial member and there is going to be the technical member. Similarly, here it is going to be the judicial membership and there is going to be the technical membership. So if we talk about the requirement of the judicial member in case of NCLT, so in this particular case, a judicial member will be the person who has been the judge of the High Court, or district judge for at least 5 years. District judge for at least 5 years, or the advocate, served as the advocate in court of office as a member of the tribunal for at least 10 years. In court as member of tribunal for 10 years. तो अगर हम अपॉइंटमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट की बात करते हैं तो इन केस ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट वी रिक्वायर द क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ हाई कोर्ट जज for 5 years, and for judicial member the person must have been either the judge of the High Court, no time duration is required, but if he has served as the district judge, so he must have served for the 5 years period, and if he has served as the advocate in the court as a member of tribunal, then he must have served for the 10 years. Then the particular person will be eligible to be elected as the judicial member of National Corporate Law Tribunal, right? Then in continuation, let's discuss first the requirement of the technical member, appointment condition of the technical member. See, we cannot make any changes in these requirements because these are the provisions given by law. So when we talk about the technical member, तो अगर technical member जो है वो company law service में या Indian legal service में आपका 15 साल तक उसने काम किया है company law service, or we can say that the Indian legal service. I am just writing in bracket the number of years condition required, or this is which is at least 3 years as joint secretary or above. तो उसमें 15 years के लिए इस position पे काम किया हो और 15 years में से at least 3 years की जो condition है वो उसमें joint secretary और above level पे काम किया हो. Then he can be the technical member. Along with that, अगर आप as a chartered accountant आपने 15 years की practice का experience है आपको, then you are eligible to be a technical member on the board. Similarly, if you have worked as the इसमें CA के साथ आपका as a cost accountant, as a company secretary, अगर आपने 15 years और above का आपका practice experience है, so then in that case you are eligible to be the technical member of the company law tribunal. In this case, the person whosoever is being appointed, he must have proved his ability, proved his standing with respect to the special knowledge and experience. So that proof of we can say expertise should have been there. The person must have presented, and it should be that in not in less than 15 years जो है basically industrial finance, industrial management, labor matters, ये जितने हमारे different disciplines हैं उसके अंदर उनका एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए। और अगर आपका 5 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है जो आप लेबर कोर्ट या ट्रिब्यूनल में या नेशनल ट्रिब्यूनल में एटलीस्ट 5 इयर्स के लिए आपने अंडर इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट के अंदर आपने सर्व किया है, देन ऑल्सो यू आर ऑल्सो एलिजिबल टू बी द टेक्निकल मेंबर of the particular court. So Industrial Dispute Act 1947 के अंडर अगर आपने मिनिमम 5 years के लिए 5 years or more you have the experience of labor court or tribunal. Labor court or tribunal में if you have worked for the 5 years period you are eligible to be the technical member of the National Company Law Tribunal. So these are the requirement of the appointment conditions of the for the National Company Law Tribunal. And now if we talk about the requirement of the this is the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. So in this case these requirements are given under section 410. So already discussed that there should be a chairperson and 11-member composition. Then we have also discussed that a person who is the judge of the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice of the High Court is eligible to be the chairperson. So this eligibility is for the chairperson. I have written there the president, but I have not written here the qualification or of the chairperson. Then after that we have discussed that when we talk about the selection of the members, so in this particular case the selection of the member is not only basis of the judicial or the technical member. So in this particular case the member of the tribunal and the technical member of the appellate tribunal shall be appointed on the recommendation of the selection committee. So the judicial members, or we can say the technical members, those who will be the part of the appellate tribunal, these all will be selected by the selection committee. So selection committee is empowered to select the people on the particular board. So this is very important because they are going to represent the country, they are going to represent the complete governing structure, the judiciary of the country. So these members will be appointed by the, we can say, the on the basis of the recommendation of the selection committee. तो उस selection committee का जो chairperson होगा वो chief justice of India होगा, senior judges of Supreme Court और High Court उस particular selection committee के member होंगे, secretary of Ministry of Corporate Affairs is going to be the member of the selection committee, secretary in Ministry of Law and Justice is going to be the member of the selection committee, and secretary in the Department of Financial Services in the Ministry of Finance is going to be the member of the selection committee. So the secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs shall be the convener of the selection committee. So whenever we talk about the selection committee, so selection committee is empowered to make appointment. So उस अपॉइंटमेंट के लिए जो आपका कंपनी कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का सेक्रेटरी होगा, he is going to be the, he or she is going to be the convener of the board selection committee, and all the members we have already discussed. So this composition we need to remember. So this selection committee composition, you need to remember that these 5 people categories are going to be the members of the selection committee, and they are empowered to select the judicial and the technical member of National Company Appellate Law Tribunal. I hope it is clear. Okay, so then in continuation, when we talk about the terms of the office, so we have already discussed that the terms of the office will be held by the president and every member of the tribunal for the term of the 5 years and from the date when they entered into the office. So it means that if we talk about the section 413, section 413 talks about the tenure or the conditions of the terms of office of the people with the for the NCLT or NCLT. So if we talk about the eligibility condition, so in this case we have already discussed that initial appointment will be for 5 years, plus if there will be reappointment subject to eligibility conditions of reappointment. So at later classes and sections we'll also discuss that how the appointment of the director happens, how independent directors of as per the company law provisions are appointed, how the appointment of the auditors takes place, how the managers are being appointed, what are the provisions, what are the rules and responsibilities, etc. So when we talk about the first condition, it says about the tenure. Second condition says that what is the condition that till what are the maximum age criteria with respect to holding the office of the tribunal. So in this case, it is given that the president can hold the office till the age of 67 years. So once he attains the age of 67 years, he is required to vacate the office, and any other member of the tribunal is going to hold the office till the age of 65 years. So this is the we can say that the maximum age criteria up till which the particular person can hold the we can say the office in the tribunal. एक और condition होती है that the person is not eligible for the appointment as a member if his age is below 50 years. तो अगर उसकी 50 साल से एज कम होती है, then in that case the person cannot be elected as a member. So in this particular case, what can be the situation that suppose a person has attained the age of 49 years and 6 months or 2 months or so. So in that case, if the person is being selected as the member of the tribunal, then in that particular situation, for at least 1 year period, he can hold the particular lien. That when the particular person is appointed, the member may retain his lien with his parent cadre or ministry or department as the case may be, while holding office as such for a period not exceeding 1 year. So इस situation में आप अपनी उस पे कैडर को 1 साल के लिए उस पे होल्ड पे कर सकते हो और लेन पे आप ट्रांसफर हो सकते हो और उस पर्टिकुलर लेन को 1 साल के लिए आप उसको कैरी ओवर रख सकते हो. Similarly, if we talk about that the person when he is eligible for the reappointment, so in that case the particular date, जिस डेट पे आप अपॉइंट हुए हो या जिस डेट पे आपने उसका ऑफिस होल्ड किया है, so then the 5 years will begin from that particular date. So after 5 years you are eligible for the reappointment. Then in case of appellate tribunal, also if we talk about the age of the chairperson, the chairperson can hold the office till the age of 67 years, and in case of the members of the appellate tribunal, the member can also hold the office till the age of 67 years. In the earlier year, the age restriction for the member was 65 years, but in case of appellate tribunal, it is 67 years. Now, I have to take a new sheet. I hope we have enough time to cover the other topic. If you say that we have to discuss the power and procedures, and we have to discuss about the special courts. So if you are comfortable, we'll start this topic today itself or in next class, as you are okay with this. If you want, so I can go with the quick recap with the today's class, and then we can start with the powers, procedures and the special courts in the next class. Yes.
मैम रिकैप करवा दो और न्यू टॉपिक
ma'am.
नेक्स्ट क्लास में करवा देना.
Right. Even I am thinking कि वो ज़्यादा over नहीं हो जाए आज की क्लास में. Okay. So if we talk about the parties of administration of the corporate law. So we know that the central government is empowered to make all the provisions, amendments, appointments, etc. If we talk about the Companies Act 1956, so there used to be the empowered body which used to be known as the Company Law Board. But with the recommendation and the proper following the judicial provisions and all, the two boards have come into existence in form of the tribunal, and the Company Law Board stands dissolved from the particular date when these particular bodies have came into existence. So this particular tribunals are empowered to do all the acts which were under the judicial review of the Company Law Board. Similarly, for the Financial Reconstruction Board and the other judicial interpretation or requirement which were there. Along with that, certain special courts have also been created, and where these special courts are going to play the role, or under what circumstances the for the expediting the process of the judiciary, these special courts have been came into existence. So this thing we are going to discuss in the next class. Similarly, we have also discussed about the role of the regional directors, official liquidators, and registrar of companies in the earlier classes. Special courts we are going to cover in the next class. Company law, we say that there is the basic provisions or the acts, or we talk about the all the required rules and provisions are given in the Bear Act. Their interpretation, explanation are there in the rule book, and the judicial interpretation and decisions helps us to understand the provision in a better way. And the implementation becomes more important. Just having the act and the rules is not sufficient. So when we talk about from the implementation point of view, so if there is certain rule for the formation of a company to be abide by certain rules, or to work under the we can say given objective, the registration procedure and the other provision, so all the companies registered under the Companies Act are required to follow those provisions. They are governed by the particular law. So if certain thing is not being promised, as we discuss in the Indian Contract Act, that if a particular situation exists as a merge as a contract, so as per Indian Contract Act, there is a legal obligation to perform. And if the legal obligation is not met, then we have the right to go to court of law to demand the performance or to get the compensation for non-performance. Similarly, when there are the rules of the corporate law and certain provisions are there with by which the particular company is being governed, and if it does not fulfill or work within the law, or there are anything which is not as per the provisions, then the parties can go to the court of law. So earlier they used to take a long time in taking the decision, and the number of cases were pending. Keeping in mind the implementation and the practical aspects of these governed provisions, the tribunal have been made, and also the special courts have been made to expedite the process of the decision making. So for that thing, these judicial bodies have came into existence, and these judicial bodies are the quasi-judicial bodies which have came into the existence and constituted by the central government under section 408 of the provisions of the Companies Act, and have came into existence on June 2016 for the implementation purposes. So in this particular administration of these bodies of the company law, we have to understand the structure of the NCLT and NCLT, the objective, the provision, the areas, or the basically the governing sections where the particular tribunals are going to work. This we have already discussed, and the basic areas can be the where the Company Law Board was there, Board of Financial Restriction, Reconstruction, then the investigation of companies account requirement, freezing of companies accounts, public suits, or conversion of public company into private company. So these law tribunals are going to take care of all these different dimensions. Then also these tribunals are also empowered by that they can take a decision on the basis of the natural justice. They are not bound by the judicial rules or the other rules of the Evidence Act, etc. So in certain situation, if it is found that the decision is to be taken on the basis of natural justice, so these tribunals are empowered with the same. Then we talk about the position. So ALT is the having the higher position, and NCLT is the primary post, and the role is that whatever evidence or the presentation is being done, it is done at the first hand before NCLT, and NCLT is going to review or see the decision. But in case if there is any kind of dissatisfaction, etc., so the appellate tribunal will come into view and will take the decision. And if the parties are not satisfied with the decision of the appellate tribunal, then they can approach the Supreme Court for the same. Then we talk about the composition of the particular tribunals. So in case of NCLT, the composition will be of the president and the members, and members will be the judicial members and the technical members. The appointment of these members will be done by the central government, which they are going to hold the period for 5 years, and the reappointment will be done for after 5-year period from the date of carrying the office. President will hold the office till he attains the age of 67 years, and member will hold the office till the attain the age of the 65 years. A person cannot be appointed if the age is below 50 years, and also if the particular person is being appointed, so primary office और मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर वो अपनी 1 साल तक अपनी लेन को मेंटेन करके रख सकते हैं. एंड अपैलेट ट्रिब्यूनल का कॉम्पोजिशन आपका चेयरपर्सन प्लस 11 मेंबर्स का होता है. The appointment is done by the central government, and the members are being appointed by the this selection committee itself. Right? In case of NCLT, the already qualification is, we have discussed कि president की qualification high court judges for 5 year, judicial member की जो qualification है high court का judge हो सकते हैं, district judge हो सकते हैं for 5 years, और एडवोकेट हो सकते हैं फॉर 10 years पीरियड के लिए. और टेक्निकल मेंबर की हमने डिस्कस किया था कि कंपनी लॉ सर्विस में या इंडियन लीगल सर्विस में 15 years होना चाहिए, और मिनिमम उसमें 3 साल जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी या ऊपर से उसकी पोजीशन होनी चाहिए. इफ दे आर प्रोफेशनली क्वालिफाइड, तो जो प्रैक्टिस 15 year प्रैक्टिस के साथ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट और कंपनी सेक्रेटरी कैन also be the member, technical member of the tribunal, but they have proved their experience, their special expertise level, and also if a person has served in the labor court or the tribunal for 5 years or more under the even Industrial Disputes Act 1947, then also the person is eligible to be selected as a member of the technical team of the National Company Law Tribunal. And in case of the NCLT, the Supreme Court judge or Chief Justice of High Court can be appointed as the chairperson, and the members as a normal member, judicial member or technical member will be appointed by the selection committee, who is empowered to make appointment. तो उसमें आपका legal services department का secretary, the chairperson will be appointed by the central government, the secretary of the company law affairs. These are going to be the members of the selection committee, and the convener will be the secretary of the corporate affairs. Then this about the tenure or terms of the office we have already covered, and I think that's it in today's class, and time is also up. So the remaining portion we are going to take up in the next class.